Just not getting it.
Rio, the new Dr. Phil.
And we are back.
Man, this is a real podcast. You know why? Because it's the Loft Party podcast. And I'm just saying.
The views and opinions expressed by the Loft Party podcast panel participants and guests do not necessarily reflect those of the Good Times of Good People Company, the host, or its sponsors.
Welcome, everybody out there in podcast land. The Good Times with Good People Company proudly presents the Loft Party Podcast, where it is always about good times, good people, and good talk. Now that you've received your invitation, the best way to let us know that you're in attendance is to download the party or become official by joining us on Facebook, subscribing on YouTube, iTunes Podcasts, or Google Play Podcasts. Good. Thanks for joining us. Grab a cocktail, light a cigar, or whatever you like to smoke. Share us with your friends, and make yourself at home. I'm your host and moderator, Rio, and let's introduce today's panel. Hey out there in podcast land, what's good? I'm your host, Rio, and welcome to the Loft Party Podcast, episode 106, The New World of Authenticity. First and foremost, I want to welcome our listeners in Germany. Thank you all for telling a friend and joining the party. Now, there was a time that in order to be famous, you had to be elusive. Now with social media, stars must be omnipresent, and we've moved into a place where authenticity is the key. Not only that, but your fans need to feel like they're your friends. How does this new world feel to you? How do you feel about social media and social media stars and even like stars and the way they use social media to get their voice out in the platform? But before we get started, let's introduce today's panel. And first I have our bartender extraordinaire here at the Pendergast Club, Ben Roberts. And I've got the creator of the Genuine Alchemist brand, Jordan Bradbury. So, small panel, which only means that we're going to have a tighter, more concise conversation, I think. So, before we get into important things, let's get into important things. And the first thing is, of course, so, what are we drinking? And with that, what are we drinking, Ben?
It's hot out today, so I particularly enjoy a Negroni on a really hot day. It's just really refreshing, with a nice, bright, bitter finish, with equal parts Rieger gin, sweet vermouth, and Campari, an Italian bitter aperitif. It's delicious.
It is delicious. And what most people don't know or get confused by when they see the coloring of a Negroni is they think that it's a whiskey drink of some sort, but actually it is a gin cocktail, and very delicious, by the way.
Agreed.
And with that takes us to, so what are we smoking? And today we're smoking number 22 on Cigar Aficionado's Top 25 of 2017, and that is the Joya Black Nocturno. With a Mexican wrapper and Nicaraguan binder and filler, this is actually, it's kind of a surprise kind of smoke for me. It's actually really inexpensive at around $6, but it's got some black cherry and cocoa notes, even a little leather and oddly enough, kind of nougat kind of finishes when you're smoking it. It's actually surprisingly complex and really inexpensive. A good smoke, a good choice, especially like I say on a hot day like today. You want to sit back, you want to have your tasty drink, you want to have your good smoke that's not going to break the bank. Try you one of these Joya Black Nocturnos, and you might be surprised that you like it. And that moves us to RIPs. And to tell you the truth, this week I did not look super deep, but I did not see anything that I thought anybody out there in podcast land would know these people off the top of their head. For the second week in a row, I suppose, God bless, we do not have any RIPs for you. But that does take us to happy birthdays, and today is, if you are an SNL fan or have been a fan of any of his work since SNL, Will Ferrell turns 50 today. I am a fan of Will Ferrell. I'm not necessarily like in love with like all Will Ferrell's movies, but he's done some true classic stuff. My favorite probably still being The Anchorman.
Mm-hmm. The first one.
Yeah, the first Anchorman, yeah. And then the Ballad of Ricky Bobby. That's
also good.
Just funny as hell. So, now that you know what we're drinking and what we're smoking, God bless. We don't have any RIPs, and we have said some happy birthdays.
Did you ever see The Other Guys?
Yes, actually, I do like The Other Guys quite a bit, as a matter of fact. With that, we'll be right back. Hey, you can search for the Loft Party Podcast on iTunes Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, and on our Good Times with Good People YouTube channel. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook, tweet us on Twitter, and if you like the content we provide, donate to us on Patreon. www.patreon.com/Loft Party Podcast. You can find all of our links below. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. And we are back. And before we get too deep, let's play a quick party game. So, today's party game question. What movie star, or I'll even extend it to music star, do you think would not get famous if they came out today?
I'm not sure I can think of anybody in particular right now. I would say that anybody who back then did something that could have easily been documented on video that was just repugnant as shit.
Yeah.
That would...
Yeah, that would, yeah. I know, given the Me Too movement, a whole lot of people would get disqualified real quick.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm sure there's been plenty of movie stars who've said something backwards, racist, super misogynist.
Oh, yeah.
Anything like that just people didn't have their phones out. There were probably people who have said shit in public.
Oh, yeah, but there was no way to record it.
Before cell phones.
Exactly.
But I can't think of anybody who got super famous in the manner in which they did.
Mm-hmm.
And not be famous today. Can you?
You know, I've actually been really toiling over this question because I know that there are a lot of actors and actresses and even musicians that have gotten really famous that probably wouldn't today, but yeah, pinpointing it down to one. I often think about, like, especially in music, especially in hip hop. I often wonder if the the veteran acts,
right?
Like, would they have popped today? Would would a Public Enemy or would a KRS-One or would some of these acts, would they have even gotten big because of how you have to move in order to get big today?
Right.
I wonder would a Wu-Tang have gotten big today? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I love Wu-Tang.
Yeah. I love Wu-Tang, but
would they? No, I don't think they would.
Yeah, I'm just thinking the types of music you would have to make and the types of moves that you'd have to make with social media, and like I don't know if those because what I find is a lot of older recording artists and a lot of older actors, they relied on a system that, like, you got discovered, you got a record deal, or you got a acting contract with a studio, and the studio or the record label did all the promotion for you, and then you remained kind of elusive.
Yeah, the content companies that existed at the time, whether it be studios,
exactly,
movie studios, television studios, record labels, MTV producers, and radio. They are.
Yeah, like would
they were choosing what they would play.
Exactly.
Whereas
now, the internet being the great democratizer, a lot of stuff makes it to the radio because it was already so popular online.
Yep.
Which a lot of people don't like or don't believe that that's even true. But what happens is, you get a song and you wind up with 1 million clicks. A record label's going, hey, that guy's popular, and you get a deal. Your song gets on the radio. It makes me think about I don't know if you remember Trinidad James.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like nobody in their right mind is going to say Trinidad James was a dope rapper, because he wasn't. Now, I will say this. I actually did like the song that got big, but there really wasn't anything else on that album worth listening to. And subsequently, Trinidad James doesn't have a record deal anymore because it wasn't anything else worth listening to being put out by him. But, since, oddly enough, now the funny thing is, the thing we wanted was for us to be the gatekeepers.
Right.
Now that we're the gatekeepers, everybody says that, everything is trash.
Yeah. I will give an example of at least one great success story, in my opinion, that's come of this. PSY. Psy.
Yeah.
He's an amazing performer, and I genuinely, whenever he comes out with a song, I'm like, I like that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to a lot of other stuff, not so great.
Not so great.
It's
that's the Gangnam Style, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh man, if you just go down that rabbit hole of his music videos, they're just fun. Very, very entertaining, in my opinion. But yeah, it's otherwise content, I think, whenever you leave it to the masses, just like they did it before, really, only it's just gotten worse.
Oh, yeah.
Because there would be the lowest common denominator music, where it's just, whatever's catchy, whatever sounds good, whatever is going to appeal to those people.
Yeah,
what's
exactly.
popular, that's just been put out on steroids, because now we can just vote on it even harder.
Exactly.
We're actually...
now they can actually see your votes. They're not going, it feels like the streets like this record.
Yeah.
They can see, obviously, by how many YouTube clicks or SoundCloud clicks or whatever you have, the streets do like this record. And it does not always pan out that those artists are any good.
Yeah.
But I also always like to look at the numbers for veteran acts, because people tend to say, oh, if such and so whoever was out, they'd be killing these young boys. Oftentimes they are out, they do have projects out, and nobody's clicking on them.
Right.
Nobody's watching them. Nobody's listening to it. And so that got me to wondering, some of these acts, would they even be famous if they came out today?
I think it's a crapshoot on that.
Yeah. What you think, Joy?
Milli Vanilli keeps coming to mind for me. Like, I don't think they would have a shot at all.
Absolutely not.
Because it's like, it's so much of a gimmick. I think that the jig would have been up, like, in this new age, very, like, I just don't think they would have been able to ride
Which
with
gets
that
me
jig.
to my authenticity thing. You know?
Yeah.
It's because as soon as people found out they weren't authentic, you know, the machine couldn't help them anymore. It was no way physically possible.
Like,
couldn't.
Like what happened to Ashley Simpson, right?
Yeah.
She got up on stage somewhere and did some garbage performance and lip synced the whole thing.
Yep.
But was also just obviously not good. But she got famous because everybody knew her sister, and that was about it.
Yeah,
But there wasn't
right.
a ton of social media at the
Because her
time.
sister, right? Because her sister could sing.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, well, you're a Simpson. You're cute. Sing something."
We'll squeeze a little money out of you.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think the veil is just so easily lifted nowadays. Like, I mean, because celebrities are just under a microscope. I mean, TMZ's working 24 hours to catch somebody coming out of the airport bathroom. So you don't really have enough time to hide. It seems like there's no like fixers anymore in the industry. You know, something bad happens. Like, hey, we got 48 hours to clean this up before it hits the media. Nowadays, it's just like,
Yeah, like somebody's out there with a camera phone.
yeah.
Once it's online, it's online.
It's online, and it's like, hey, that guy is a fraud, or he's just not that good. And then it's just,
Yeah, you don't have fixers anymore. You have firemen. Like,
Yeah.
that's all you're doing is putting out fires. You're
Putting
not
out
actually
fires.
fixing anything.
yeah.
But then there's the other side of it as well, where you have somebody like Chris Brown who literally beats a woman half to death and still is wildly famous.
Yeah,
So
Which-
it's also people are very fickle
exactly.
depending on who they are.
Exactly.
Which audience are we
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, I think Chris Brown's a great example because at the end of the day, you physically can see the picture of Rihanna looking fucked up.
Yeah.
And, 9 months, it was quiet for him. And all it really took was to put out another really good record. And it was over.
That's it, man.
I mean, he's had his issues because, no matter how many years have gone on, people won't let it die. And I think that's
Right.
exacerbated his issues. But, the fact that, which says to me, Chris Brown would be famous regardless.
Yeah.
Because people just like his stuff.
And they don't care what he does otherwise.
And they just obviously don't care what he does otherwise. Which sounds crazy,
To me, yeah, but
Yeah.
that it is how it is.
I mean, look, we a couple podcasts ago we were talking about R. Kelly and them getting pulled off of the Spotify playlists, and
That's right.
that was 20 years ago. He peed on that girl. Everybody knew it. And everybody still went and bought R. Kelly records. They still went to his concerts. He put out the whole Trapped in the Closet thing after the whole P-tape thing came out.
Yep.
So it's just, some people, talent will trump.
Absolutely.
Some people. But I don't know if enough people have enough talent to trump their bad behavior.
Well, I guess look at the case of Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an immensely talented actor.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But-
one allegation.
Yeah.
One.
Yep.
Career over. Done.
I would argue that I think that Kevin Spacey has, a much bigger career than Chris Brown
Oh, yeah.
by far.
By far.
But maybe that's part of the whole people like to see,
Yeah.
the top get knocked down.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I mean, obviously I don't condone his behavior.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean,
I would argue that maybe I would argue what Chris Brown did to Rihanna was worse off than what he did.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I think they're on equal footing only because what he did was with a minor.
Yeah.
And so, but I agree that even though we haven't necessarily come up with any hard names of people who maybe just wouldn't have made it in today's era, I think it actually brings us directly to the kind of underpin of what my topic is really about. Mm-hmm. And with that, we'll be right back. Hey out there in podcast land, we would not be doing our duty if we didn't acknowledge the sponsors of the Loft Party Podcast, the Majestic Restaurant and Jazz Club, and the Majestic's Pendergast Club. The Majestic carries on Kansas City's tradition of great food and jazz. Let them show you why they are the classic Kansas City steakhouse experience. 931 Broadway, just 3 blocks from the Kansas City Convention Center. J. Rieger & Company, a Kansas City distillery. Whether whiskey, gin, or vodka, neat or on the rocks, J. Rieger, Kansas City, sipping good since 1887. C&P Construction, Kansas City's premier wood framers. 50 years of quality framing and craftsmanship. Just email david.cnpservice@gmail.com and start building something new today. And our friend and frequent guest, Lane Boland. Thank you all for all that you do.